Welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading, so I do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why everything's playing out the way that it is. All right. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you have to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out, and it's the underlining energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing. That's really important when we're looking at shadows, because people wear masks, they create facades. So it's not so much about what your person's going to do, though we do look at that. It's more about, why is your person doing what they're doing? What's the whole point of the relationship? Because a lot of times the relationship is just very triggering. There's highs, there's lows, there's as many good times, there's more, sometimes there's more bad times. So we're like, what's the point of the relationship? And understand there is always a point, because the universe brings you people, situations, and experiences to help you heal, to help you evolve really, to revert back to your natural state, which is just unconditional love. We're born into families and societies and everything else that creates those perceptions, which is what makes us adapt to those. But instead of changing, we get stuck. And so shadow readings help you to integrate those wounded parts of yourself so you can actually either balance out your connection or shape shift your connection. Hey, Gabby, thanks for coming on. I didn't know that it was going to come on today. My allergies are killing me. I got on a little bit late. Anyway, the word of the video is knowing, and it's wisdom. And I'm going to pick another one because it's like, okay, so there's a higher meaning of consciousness when it comes to this connection, meaning there's a spiritual connection. Knowledge is, and when we're talking about that wisdom, and you see the sacred geometry in the back and the dove, well, it's again, that's this knowing. There's a spiritual reason for the connection, which could mean, again, though, there's an intense chemistry, but there's also like triggers. There's also things that you're like, why am I in this connection with this person? And that's what I was saying before, that regardless of how insignificant we tend to think that the connection is, it's always there to help us to heal, even if we like that connection was a horrible connection or it didn't do anything. Self-denying. So you're in separation from someone that when you were connected to them, they actually didn't give you anything, that you were like self-denying yourself. And now I feel like this person is holding themselves back. Hey, Bonnie, thanks for coming on. So, and now they're holding back from you, and they're holding back from you because they know that you're looking at this being like, you didn't treat the connection the way that I treated the connection. So now you're seeing this person differently, and that bothers this person. So your triggers, you always have to look at them, even though that they don't really matter. Meaning, what did they do? What like, and what it was you just had enough of their disrespect. It's like, and then what would happen is if you said something to them, like you challenge them, they would actually have an attitude. They might even like have a temper about it. It's like, and just that they were triggered. And I feel like this was their way of testing you. Like, really, that's what it was. It was like they were continuously testing you to see whether or not you were going to settle for less. Trying to, again, disrespect the connection, acting like it was nothing, acting like you were nothing, not giving you enough time, not giving you enough energy, not being transparent about what they wanted. The list goes on. Is again with the disrespect. And what happened is it was like you felt like the passion was starting to like drift away, and you knew that that's what this person felt, and it frustrated them. And it frustrated them because it's like they created too many trust issues, and trust at its basic level is intimacy. It's like, I can be transparent with you, I trust you. It's like, well, if you can't open up that way, then a lot of times the passion does get ruined within a relationship. It's like, because then there's a sense that, like I said, you can't trust them. And that's the irony, because at one time, the relationship was all about that, all about like, oh, I'm really connected to you because I'm attracted to you. I'm willing to look the other way on certain things because I'm attracted to you, because of that connection. So to go from one extreme to another because of the disrespect, well, that person definitely feels it. And just like not taking responsibility for what they do. Like, well, because you're not opening up, you're not making it easy for them, that you were always seen as the bad guy. You were the blame was always put back on you, where you're like, okay, you're not even trying. And I believe that this person really wasn't trying. Again, remember, self-denying. They've held themselves back too. But part of them, I feel like, did that too because they didn't really build that emotional connection. They didn't want to go that deep. Some of them were talking to numerous different people. Again, this person was not on the same vibration as you. I feel like over time, what's happened is this person has changed. And it's changed because you changed. And by you changing, you force this person to look at you. That's what I really feel like what's happened. But we'll see how they dealt with it. But we're going to see that there was projection here. So I'm still, for a long time, they were like, I'm still not willing to look at the connection. I'm going to downplay the connection. And also, I think that maybe you're going to give in to me because of the passion, which is really what I feel like this person thought. Betrayal. It's, again, how can I fix it? They know what they did. I know how I treated you. It's like, now you're going to want to hurt me. Like a little bit tit for tat, even though that's not what you would do. I feel like, yeah, in the past, this person has shitty relationships because they don't give, they hold back, they play games, and they treated you the same way that they treat everybody else. Now, it definitely made you feel a certain way, but that's more on you. Again, and we'll look at that with your inner child wounds, meaning like they wouldn't have been able to make you feel anyway if you didn't have the trauma inside you before. So again, they would be a past life karmic mate, but now they have feelings and they're like, I don't really know what to do. You're holding back from me, but I don't really know how to fix that. They'd have to, again, come back with their tail between their legs. And that's humbling, but that's when the ego is big. That's the way that the universe works. The universe is like, I'm going to let you give you enough rope to really hang yourself. Because if you want this, you're going to have to come back so humble. You're going to have to. And this person doesn't look like they wanted to do that, They're used to contracts. And contracts are more or less like something that binds you to your trauma, your inner child trauma. So creating the same dynamic that you grew up in could be a karmic contract where you're, inherited that past family karma. And so I feel like this person tends to do that. This is why they go into relationships where they give very little. That's why they, again, never dealt with the soulmate, never dealt with that type of connection, and wasn't going to put that much stock in that connection due to their past connections. However, I could see how it would make you feel a certain way. But that's, again, is the spiritual lesson for you, which we will look at. Just not right this second. Authority, just wanting to be in charge, which means that you would be always oppressed, you would be dominated, they would tell you what to do, and eventually you would feel disposed of. which is like, you want me for what, but you're not building an emotional connection to me. And so over time, you're just going to like, unless you put emotional time, energy, focus, it's how much heart you put into something. That is the connection. So there's a lot of passion here that was driven, but now the passion is like kind of disintegrated. And so, and it's because this person like wants to be the one that's in charge, but they don't have good relationships. So again, we see this a lot of times within connections. You meet someone that they have the ingredients, but they hold back. They hold back as a way that you'll give them more. That didn't happen here. You were like, I see what you're doing. I'm not gonna like entertain this. The person wasn't used to that. And really, they are going to come back. And I knew that they were going to come back because the spiritual lesson is about forgiveness. Really, that they were really self-denying themselves, but you saw it as they're self-denying me. No, they just didn't value the connection, and they didn't value the connection because that would mean that they would have to be vulnerable. It would put them back into that space. However, understand that we can hate to be in a karmic contract with someone, hate it, but there's a fine line between love and hate. And what happens is that people begin to believe that they need that they need it. And so if you're not going to come in and be the person that is the oppressor, the person that like holds it all together, the person that emotionally is going to be there, then the connection won't go. And I feel like you were just something that like was protecting yourself. So we have to say, why would you get that? Well, for a number of reasons. But I want to pull like a few more from this deck actually, because I want to see how deep we can go into like what kind of connection. But then we'll look at your inner child wounds and say, why did you attract this person into your life? What do you need to learn? Because when you understand what you need to learn, you can implement those things. And that, because we can't just get rid of negative energy. Remember, this person's creating a lot of negative energy by holding back, by playing games, by, again, disrespecting who you are, because, again, they're disrespecting the connection, knowing how you feel. It's like they don't want to take your feelings into consideration, but that's how this person kind of is. They deny themselves of the connection. So sometimes we can understand what their thinking is with this deck. But I do want to know why it's like, why is the relationship so difficult? Not everyone does. Our inner guidance is clear, but our ego is resisting it. So that's obvious that this person has created walls. And that's what happens when we've lived too many experiences that we're like, no, the relationships just don't work out. Someone always is in pain, and it's just not going to be me. Relationships don't work out. There's no such thing as love. There's no such thing. So here it is. You come along. They're not looking for you. It's like, that's not the life that they lived. It's like, and they're like, this doesn't mean anything, trying to talk themselves out of it. The same divine energy flows in each of us. This energy is the catalyst to our reunion. We need to allow this energy to work its magic. So again, more about the ego, pretty much just in a flowery way, meaning I know that you love me, and this person's like, I know that you could like have feelings for me too. So I know that you're not just going to let this go. I know that you're mad, and you were like, yeah, I am mad because you disrespected the connection. And you expect me to just sit here and fucking wait for you. It's like, so yeah, you're annoyed because you're like, such disrespect. For what? So you could run around with other people that you knew that wouldn't even hold a candle to me. So again, the disrespect, and now I'm just supposed to take you back. So it's, again, the ego is that. It's like you weren't ready. But the problem is that this person like that was their unfoldment process to know that you were their person. It's like they didn't believe in love. They've navigated their life this way and it's been successful and fulfilling for them, to be honest with you. Like I have a different flavor every night if I want. It's like, and no attachment. They can come and go as a bed. Everyone's safe. Everyone gets what they want. Only they don't get what they want because there's a lot of people that lie and it keeps this person in a very low vibration, believing that they can't really have love. See, that's why they're doing it. They're saying, no, no, it's other people, but really, it's not other people. We're a reflection of who comes into our life. So this person was projecting a lot of their insecurities onto you, their ego, and then it projects your ego, which is like, how dare you do that to me? But the spirit's like, well, technically, how were they really supposed to figure out whether you were really their person? They were going to compare. They needed to see it. They never experienced this energy before. What the fuck's the difference? And then it's like, well, after dating like 4 people that like don't really, there's no connection, there's no spark, there's no chemistry. Oh, this is the difference. Now I'm sure I can find that energy in somebody else, though. I'm going to find the energy in somebody else because I can't go back there now. I'm sure I'll meet somebody else. I'm not meeting anybody else. I'm not meeting anybody else. Is it this really even true? Does this really even exist? This is this person's process. Very slow. Very slow. It's like, let me check Facebook first. I don't want to ask anybody, because God forbid I showed any transparency. But after a while, I'll ask somebody, some unsuspicious person that won't ask me too many questions about what's going on in my life because I have to figure it out because I can't figure it out. But their ego is like, no such thing, no such thing, no such thing, no such thing. But their intuition is there's something, there's something, there's something, there's something. And so that's the universe that's working through them. And you're like watching this person like, what the fuck are you doing? Who the hell do you think you are? And Spirit's saying, you see, like, look how angry you're getting. Like, and it's like, yeah, because what the fuck was that? All they had to do was come back and apologize. But instead, they're gonna try every single flavor in the fucking ice cream store. And I'm supposed to sit here and Spirit says, well, again, that's why the person comes back with their tail between their legs. That's why they know that they know. But it's allowing this person their process. Like if you cannot like it, I don't like it, but we weren't together. However, I have to let you have your process. And that was your process to figure out that I was the only one that I am really who I am. It's again that I'm like the one that the divine sent for you. Which it's again that you would never say that to this person, but that's what this person is getting on a psychic level, which they're like, this shit doesn't exist. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm praying you'll come back after everything that's happened between us. I worry that you won't forgive me and allow me another chance. Well, that's the fucking place that they need to be in. The divine said, oh no, that's where they need to be. They did a lot of fuck shit over there. It's like, so now they can sit in it for a little while and think about like what a horse's ass they made themselves into. Is then they're going to have to come back with their tail between their legs because they're realizing that you're not coming back. And because you're like every other day, I'm not going to take you back. Well, maybe I'll take you back. And that's that energy, which is, I don't know what to do with this person. Whatever you just cleared, help me to shift to. So I believe again, every other day, like one day you're mad, one day you're like not, one day, and that person feels it. So if you're like, I'm angry and I don't want you to come back, that person is feeling it. And their insecurities get triggered because they know that they didn't treat you right. But this is part of their process. They wouldn't just get humbled. People don't just get humble. People that have such a hard time apologizing, that are willing to walk away from a connection because they don't want to apologize. You know how big that ego is? That this person doesn't want to show any type of vulnerability. Spirit saying, I have a big job here. I don't know if you know that. It's like there's a big job here. It's like that person is not, they're not just going to surrender. They shut down their heart though. It's again the way that they were navigating their life. They were, being indulgent, treating people like things, like going out to a restaurant and trying a different food every night and no connection. It's what I want, not about what you want, what works out for me. I know the universe works in mysterious ways, but sometimes I judge this situation instead of surrender to it. Hello, that's where we're in now. Like, again, where you feel like on, off, like, what the fuck? It's like because this person's ego gets in the way. Is the spirit saying, again, I don't know if you know the job I have here. It's not a little job. It's like they grew up in a certain environment, then they dated, then this worked for them, and it's safer. If you take that away, then who are they? They don't know. So it's an ego death, and people don't go down that easy. They resist it. And you're part of that. So you're part of that because the universe is saying, I'm going to use this person, this situation, this experience. I have to make the ego die. What affects this person? What's affecting this person to make them surrender? But the whole time, what you see is like, maybe not. I still like it to be my way. I mean, a push pull, which if you're staring at this, you would get mad because you're like, how dare you? It's not, and spirit says this isn't about you, but that fear is what it is. I wish I could say what I really feel. Someday I will, but right now I'm afraid to be myself. And that's really what it comes down to. It's like this person has fear of abandonment, that really, if you really get to know them, you really get that deep, you're not going to like them because they don't like who they are. And people don't like who they are when they don't know who they are. Who are walking around from shame and victimization and all these other spiritual blocks from our life experiences, then that's the armor that we begin to wear. It's like we wear our pain like armor, and that's like this person. And so that's not who you are. It's like, however, the law of transmutation, the law of alchemy, and we're all our own alchemists, tells us you can't just get rid of negative energy. You have to do something with that energy. You have to turn that pain into power. You have to turn fear into fire. It's like passion is one way to transmute those blocks. So again, there's a sense of that this person feels connected to you because they like your life. It's like you're in a high vibration. Again, they can feel love. It feels good. The connection. It's like, again, it's a spiritual connection. So there's a lot of emotion, but it's not like this person has ever hung out with you. It's like they can just feel it. There's a knowing, and there's a knowing because it's a past life karmic made. It's like, I feel you. And so, yes, this person is in the process of trying to evolve into a higher state of consciousness because you're not budging. And this person definitely, I believe, has past life memories. People just don't change. I long for your kisses and your touch. Again, passion, we already know that because there's that fire element. The fire element is transmutation, where spirit's saying that's an important element. This person wouldn't get off their ass to move anything. They definitely wouldn't change. They wouldn't be humbled. They have to be uncomfortable in order to do it. That's an ego death is very uncomfortable. The dark night of the soul, it's not comfortable. I daydream about you. Sometimes it's sexual. Other times I visualize our future together. Again, very twin flame energy. We feel that there's and while you're in separation. So this is the thing. This person said, I can't shut it off. I can't shut it off. I can't shut it off. Our hearts are connected. Take a moment to close your eyes and feel the connection. So that's what this person feels. Okay, we are coming into 1111. So it's like this person is awakening to like who you are. So it's a big deal. However, it's like they're inside of them. There's an ego battle going on right now. That's really what it is. The ego's like, no, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable in this type of energy. It's not about caring about anyone. It's about my own needs. It's like I don't really want to do that, but really they're self-denying themselves by again, and you being connected to someone that wasn't giving you. It's again, what did you need to learn? Because they clearly were like fought it the entire step of the way, and you stayed connected to them, and that's also this person feels that love, where you're like, I just couldn't shut it off. It's like, but what would you need to learn? Because a lot of times when we learn the spiritual lesson, sometimes we don't even want to be with this person anymore. That's how you know if it's a real twin flame or not, or whether it's just a karmic. Magic, card number 1. Card number 2, unworthy. Card number 3, nurturance. Space. Belittled. Shame. Whenever I see magic, and as a childhood, these are inner child cards, it tells me like you have a good imagination, you're a highly sensitive person, you had intuitive gifts. Your magic is your essence. Your magic is that you connect well with people. Your magic is that you again are a very spiritual person, that you're a loving person, that you hold a lot of the spiritual traits of a higher consciousness, such as unconditional love, patience. It's just with this person, I feel like they do have the power to like trigger you, and they were supposed to awaken certain wounds that you haven't fully integrated. And the reason why is because you hadn't created enough of yourself. You were still holding on to shame, feeling unworthy, right? And I say that because space. See, this is empty space to create. You're no longer that person, but giving too much time, energy, focus. Again, you didn't need to spend time with this person, but holding space for this person in your mind is a currency. Spirit's saying it's like you're like wasting space. You needed to cut that psychic energy off and put it into yourself. I feel like by when you finally got to that place, this person felt that and they were like, oh, I don't like this energy because it's like not there. It was almost like you were always there. They felt that energy. So you had to cut the energy off. And so space to me is all, again, about creating the life that you want to create now. There's an empty canvas. So do you really want to stay connected to someone that makes you feel less than? Someone that belittles you, where I don't feel that this person belittled you, but they made you feel unworthy. So it's the same type of energy. Yeah, unworthy. See, it's like they made you feel like you didn't matter. And that's it. Yeah. So they were living from a very low vibrational frequency, hoping that you give them more, and that's, you grew up in that environment where you were made to feel that way. So to repeat that energy instead of creating yourself. See, if we stay around people that make us feel unworthy, we continue to give, and then we're the ones that get victimized. And then we stay in a place of shame, where really Spirit's saying that this person had all the spiritual blocks. You didn't have a spiritual block. You just, again, were acting like you were unworthy. You were acting that way because of how much energy you were putting towards this person, because of the connection. Whereas Spirit's saying, but if your life was full, like, and you were really like having a love affair in your own life, and your life is rich with emotional connections. Doesn't need to be a bunch of different lovers. It's a bunch of different emotional connections that allow you to feel fulfilled in life. Ones that are expanding your mind, that are nourishing your soul. It's again doing that. You would notice that this person wasn't bringing anything to the table. And that's what Spirit was saying. It's like this person was committed. The issue is that they always knew that there was a connection, but they were like, they disregarded it because of what they've gone through. So they didn't think about you at all. So they were in a low vibrational frequency, which is why they're in that ego death now. But why did you experience it? Well, because I grew up feeling unworthy, feeling like I didn't matter, like I was small. And Spirit says, but you're not small. You have all this space to create who you want to be. Why are you holding space for this person? The moment that you cut that off. So it's about nurturing yourself, needing to reparent yourself. And you do that by creating yourself. That's when you find your magic. That's when you actually are performing magic because you're co-creating with the universe. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. It's about the universe conspiring to bring you everything that you need. So you could say, hey, I want to be an actress. And putting the energy out there the best way that you know how, by being like childlike, right? Again, because you're in the imagination and utilizing what you have in the physical plane. And then the universe, which is God, which is of unconditional love, and you're in the vibration of unconditional love, is what's bringing you what you need. So you're so full, your cup is overflowing, that you would be like, you're not giving me shit. There's something wrong with you. Like, you must have the energy of shame, and you're projecting that onto me because you feel like you can't be loved. You can feel like, again, your relationships don't work out well. Well, they're not going to work out well as long as you don't give them anything. If you don't participate, you play games and you treat people like they're food, like, oh, what meal should I have today? It's like, this person never experienced a connection like this before. It's again, 1111 tells me everything. It's like awakening. They were asleep. So we asked the Spirit one more card to tell us, like, how do we deal with this? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? And Spirit says, gratitude. I am aware of the light in my life. I direct my thoughts to the beauty in and around me. I give thanks to God for every little thing that brings me joy. Thus, I enlighten my thoughts. Riches surround me, and I appreciate all that life brings to me. So again, always just making sure that you're in a state of gratitude for what you have. I think twin flame journeys are challenging. They're not what you think that they are. Yes, the catalyst is that there's a lot of passion. Otherwise, who the hell is going to deal with it? It's like the person is not their best self when you meet them. They're ready to evolve into a better version of themselves. But that's after an ego death, after running and sabotaging the connection and doing what this person did. But again, Spirit's saying yes, but the connection that you had was to awaken those wounds inside of you. And it starts off with just you being happy. It's again, which would be hard to do if you were like meant to feel unworthy and belittled. Then life and manifesting have been not the easiest for you because, again, of what you've been conditioned to do. So being aware of who gives you little is like you wouldn't know unless you were giving yourself the appropriate amount, is what the universe is saying. The universe is saying you aren't giving yourself enough love. That might be, doing self-care, dating other people, like joining things that are going to get you out there to help you connect with other people and having a love affair in yourself. And you might be like, there's no money. And then the universe would say, if you don't think that I know what's in your bank account, then you don't know me at all. It's to understand I always bring people what they need, but the lack of faith is the lack of effort that's shown. And the universe only helps those that help themselves. And so we need to be grounded and we need to invest in ourselves. And that's what Spirit was saying. Spirit saying, you were treating yourself the way that you were brought up to believe. And so you didn't notice. You were just saying, I'm just treating a person the way I want to be treated. And so Spirit says, yeah, but your bowl is empty. So you're extra hungry. So you would actually want more. So you're coming from a place of lack. And that's why I'm bringing you that person. Not because you're deserving of that person, because you're not treating yourself the way that I see you, the way that I made you. I made you again to be again something that someone longs for, that someone like desires. And so not until you changed did Spirit say, okay, well, now this person's awakening to what it is. But you're going to need to forgive. And why would you need to do that? And Spirit says, well, you also need to forgive or holding on to pain and anger. Obviously, if you grew up in an environment where you were made to feel unworthy or not good enough, or again, that belittled, kept you in an energy like that, and you had to reparent to give yourself the nurturing that you needed. Spirit would say, well, you're kind of still holding on to like a little bit of that energy. And so you'd be like, no, I forgave. And Spirit says, not until you go through the experience again and handle it differently have you transmuted that negative energy fully. So it's not just about learning the mind, it's about going through the experience again and dealing with it differently. So we're not going to bring you back in time to when you were brought up with mom and dad, but I'm going to bring you a person that triggers all those old wounds that kind of either doing the same thing or just triggering and having the same karmic outcome, just so that you can learn to integrate those wounded aspects of yourself. That's really what the twin flame journey does. It makes us do it. And what we saw in this story is that this person comes back, and in order to like fix themselves, they really have to humble themselves. They need to have an ego death. They needed to go through that whole process, and they're actually still going through it because they're fighting themselves. It's like a war going on inside of this person because they know that they have to change. All right. Hello to all of the tribes and our amazing wise men. Hello, Annette. Hello, Selena. What is this? Something weird happened. My heart beat fast today and been overwhelmed with tears. Again, and you might be an empath, obviously. So somebody may be thinking of you and you're picking up on that energy, or you subconsciously are tapped into somebody. So obviously, like when there's in the ESP connection, that's to the heart and mind. So we can always feel our person. But I think that, a lot of times if someone's thinking of you, you can really feel it. Just the same as, if your mother was to call you or someone was going to call you and you're like, oh, I knew you were going to talk. I knew I was going to talk to you today. I knew that was you on the phone. That's because the person has emotion towards you and they were thinking of you. So that's why that happens, because we have that connection. It transcends many, many lifetimes. But if no one has any questions, I'm going to run. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I'll be on later, or at least I'll put up another video sometime later today. All right, bye.